people have had as rock-solid of a career in so many realms as Dwayne The Rock Johnson. In the wrestling world, he was dubbed the Great One and the People's Champion. And in the film world, his movies have brought in at least $10 billion worldwide. On top of that, his 2000 autobiography, The Rock Says, was #1 on the New York Times bestseller list, and his Project Rock sneaker with Under Armour sold out in less than 24 hours. All of this has helped him top his list of highest-paid actors 2 years in a row, with an estimate of $87.5 million in 2020. Today, I'm going to show you things you didn't know about Dwayne Johnson. Before the start of the video, make sure to leave a like, and if you want to see more content, subscribe to channel. Let's get started. His nickname as a kid was Dewey. Before he was branded with a tough guy persona and fittingly strong wrestling name of The Rock, Johnson had a very different kind of nickname growing up. When he was about 6 months old, he was with his godparents and his mom asked if his diaper was wet. His godmother responded, "No, he's just a little Dewey," he recalled at the Television Critics Association virtual conference in 2021. While he was too young to know any better at the time, the moniker stuck. For years, when my parents would come around in front of my girlfriends or friends or anyone, they'd say, "Hey, Dewey," automatically, he added. "It's not like that's a powerful name." Automatically, people were like, "Oh God." He wanted to become a CIA agent. Johnson had his eyes on becoming a real-life crime buster, hoping to work for the Central Intelligence Agency. But a legal hurdle got in his way. My criminal justice professor and advisor, Dr. Paul Cromwell, convinced me that the best operative I could become for the agency is one that also had a law degree, Johnson posted on Instagram in 2018. That gave him a reality check. I thought that's a great idea until I realized no respectable law school would ever let me in with my pile of steaming shit grades, he wrote. End of story. But he did graduate from the University of Miami with a Bachelor of General Studies in Criminology and Physiology. He was on track to become a pro football player. After a high school teacher encouraged him to try playing football, he found that he had a knack on the field, quickly excelling and earning a full scholarship to the top football college, University of Miami. The coach told him that he had a good shot at making it to the NFL, GQ reported. "So, in my head, that was it. I've got my ticket," he told the magazine. "I get goosebumps now just thinking about it. I'll make it, make money. My parents can move out of their apartment. This is it." But things didn't quite go that way. After suffering injuries, he said, "I struggled and I got depressed." He played for the Calgary Stampeders, but was cut from the team 2 months later. At his low point, he only had $7 in his wallet. After being cut from the football team in 1995, he landed in Miami and called his dad in Tampa to pick him up. While they were on Interstate 75, Johnson wondered how much he had to his name. Pulled out my wallet, and yeah, I had a 5, a 1, and some change. I remember thinking, all I have is $7. At that time, I wanted so much more, he told Esquire. He compared himself to Warren Sapp, who had beat him out of his position in Miami a few years prior and was freshly drafted for $1 million. It was like the success I wanted so badly and worked so hard for years was happening all around me to everyone else but me, he said. And I'll never forget that. The term $7 has a lot of meaning. He later called his production company $7 Production. Both his dad and grandfather were wrestlers. Johnson became the first third-generation wrestler in the WWE, a legacy that started with his grandfather, American Samoa-born High Chief Peter Maivia, in the 1960s. His dad, Nova Scotia-born Rocky Johnson, known as Soul Man, then learned from Maivia before marrying his daughter. When Rocky retired in 1991, he started training his son. And when the younger Johnson made his WWE debut in 1996, his dad would sometimes be seen leaping into the ring and defending his son when he looked to be in trouble, the New York Times wrote. Johnson dedicated his Hollywood Critics Association Trailblazer Award in 2021 to his father, saying, "As complicated as our relationship was, he was a real trailblazer because what trailblazers do is they change people's behavior. And that's what he did. and he did everything he could to send people home happy. He made a 10 to 12-year plan to become the top guy in Hollywood. In a blink, it seemed like Johnson was suddenly on top of both the wrestling and movie industries. But in actuality, it was part of a long, calculated plan. "I started to retire quietly from professional wrestling when I was 29, he said in an Instagram video in 2020. "I had the most incredible run as a pro wrestler. Every night he was out there wrestling, his goal was to entertain, not necessarily to win. So it made perfect sense, but he didn't want to just be a flash in the pan. I wanted to have a real long-lasting career that had weight, that had value," he explained. So he studied the craft, working with acting coaches, and set out a 10 to 12-year plan. "I wanted to be the #1 man in the world of Hollywood in terms of box office draw." The tattoo on his back, chest, and left arm took 60 hours. In 2003, Johnson took a trip to Hawaii to get his family heritage inked on his body by a Tahitian tattoo artist, Po'oini Irandi. Before getting started, Johnson and Irandi chatted for hours and said a prayer. The tattoo itself took 60 hours, divided into 3 20-hour sessions, and the elaborate design represents all the things that are important to me, that I love, and that I'm passionate about, he said. Among the symbolism are coconut leaves representing a Samoan chief warrior, the sun for good fortune, 2 eyes of ancestors looking over him, and a tortoise shell to fend off evil spirits. Also part of the design is a symbol showing 3 people in one, to show the bond between him, his then-wife, and daughter. He now has 2 more daughters. He held the Guinness World Record for taking selfies. Talk about multitasking! While at the London premiere of his film San Andreas in 2015, Johnson managed to accomplish another feat, setting the Guinness World Record title for most selfies taken in 3 minutes, which he did with 109 fans. Officials were on hand to make sure that every shot included the full face and neck of the subjects and were in focus. A few were disqualified. But in the end, he earned the title and posted on Instagram, "World premiere of San Andreas and rewriting the record books all in one night. Hashtag mic drop boom, hashtag new selfie king." The record was later broken in 2016 by Donnie Wahlberg, and again in 2018 by a man named James Smith. Tim Burton considered him for the role of Willy Wonka. Before Johnny Depp donned the iconic top hat to play Willy Wonka in the 2005 remake of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, director Tim Burton considered Johnson. "I remember thinking, 'Holy shit, I'm in,'" he wrote in an Instagram post. But that was many years ago, when I was just starting out in Hollywood, with no foundation of global box office strength, or any real acting experience to even pull it off. He's considered running for president. Having checked off so many fields, could Johnson eventually move into the world of politics? Maybe. It's no accident that every episode of Young Rock starts and ends with Johnson playing himself being interviewed by a journalist, played by Randall Park, as he's running for president in 2032. In fact, back in 2017 he said, "I would consider a presidential run in the future if that's what people wanted. Truly, I mean that, and I'm not flippant in any way with my answer." Thanks guys for watching. If you enjoyed this video, smash that like button, subscribe to channel, and turn on post notifications to see more of our future videos. With that said, keep enjoying our videos, and I'll see you in the next video.